What's up, Gemini? How's it going, guys? So, this video is going to be a little different. I came into this ready to talk about the Libra new moon and how it's going to bring all this creativity for us and all this great stuff. And then I had like a couple of like little things happen to me. Nothing like terribly bad, but like one of those things that just puts you in a mood. You know what I mean? Like in one of our moods. I started to go real dark the way we go real dark in our heads so fast. And I was like, no, I don't want to do my video when I'm feeling this way. This is the last of the Libra new moon videos. Like, I don't want to go out like that. But then I thought, no, why don't I? Right? Like, think about what we're talking about. We're talking about the moon in darkness in the sign of balance, right? And Gemini, we're a sign of duality, right? We have the light and we have the dark. We have the one twin and the other twin. And it just got me thinking, like, the things that were going through my head were about like moments in the last like year or so where I've just almost 2 years, maybe longer than that, where like my expression was being stifled, where I wasn't like speaking my truth, you know, because sometimes when we speak our truth, Gemini, like we can cut with our words and we want to be nice to people most of the time. So we maybe bite our tongue sometimes until we can't. But first of all, first card popping out here, 10 of Cups. Beautiful current situation, like so beautiful. I'm so happy to see this because, you know, this is very interesting because to my point right now, we're entering Scorpio season, right? Jupiter's in Scorpio. Our ruling planet, Mercury, is in Scorpio. And this all brings about this like real intensity to the energy, right? Like with our planet there, Mercury, like I feel like we're just gonna need to like kind of express some shit. And it's not necessarily having to be like telling people off. But I think like that part of us that's been like deep down inside, because like with Scorpio it's so deep and intense and like mysterious. That part of us that's been down there, while the like nicer side of us has been like getting knocked around out here, like I don't know about you guys, but I'm just feeling like that's the kind of balance I'm talking about. Like that guy is gonna be given some time to do his thing, if you know what I'm saying. The other twin, that darker twin, is ready to like handle some shit right now. You know, I was thinking about this because I have a friend at work and she's a Scorpio and we've become really close. And just today we were talking about, like, she was teaching me about how to like deal with assholes you're dating, right? Like how to be above it, how to make them feel like shit. And not because like you want to be a dick about it, right? But like we're talking about like fuckboy types, right? Like the people who fuck around with you, like play games with you, and then like end up hurting you. And she was giving me like these great tips on like how to make them feel like shit and like come above it. And like there was a time in my life maybe a few months ago where I'd be like, no, I don't want to play that game. Like I'm not like that. I don't want to do that. Like fuck it, I'll just like not talk to them and like I don't need to be petty. But right now I'm like, teach me more. Please, oh wise one, tell me your ways. Because I'm tired of that bullshit. I'm tired of like people thinking that they could fuck with us. Are you guys tired of that? Like, have you been like just so nice and like maybe biting your tongue and like now maybe you're ready to just like let it out a little bit, you know, like express that like grit that we have, because we're a strong sign, right? We're soft and vulnerable and like attractive and youthful, but we also have the other twin. Like look, 7 of Swords, fuckery. Like this is the shit we've been dealing with. Like we've been letting this fucktard get away with doing this shit for way too long. That's how I feel. So yeah, the new moon in Libra is all about creativity for Gemini, right? And if you have an artistic like skill or talent, like, or it doesn't even have to be artistic, like if you want to decorate your house, you know, like just something where you get to express yourself, get some new clothes, right? But like, I really think the balance is like getting that other guy powerful, the other twin, like the one who will cut a bitch, the one who's gonna like not take this guy's shit, but then the one that like recognizes like why he's not gonna take that shit, because we're dope, right? Like, we're very attractive sign, like we are lovely, we're forgiving, we're youthful, we're friendly, we like socializing, we're gregarious, we love just being around people. But we can be pushed too far, right? I think that's why Gemini has such a bad rap of being like two-faced, right? Because we're so nice most of the time and we take so much shit that like when we snap on you, and we do snap on you, you're like, whoa. People are like, where'd that come from? You're bipolar. What's up with you, dude? Like, I had a friend tell me once, she's like, people will take shitty behavior from shitty people because they expect it. But like, if a nice person is shitty, they're like, it's so out of left field that it gets so exaggerated. And that's what I think we are, right? Like, you test us and you test us and you test us and you test us. And then when we hit our point, when we just fucking punch you in the face, you're like, whoa, that was so uncalled for. No? Why are you pushing our buttons? Like, why are you doing that to us? Like, Gemini, this is a time about us and ourselves. Like, remember what I said from the beginning about like power and the Scorpio like energy, just like using that to like make shit happen. Like, Four of Pentacles. This is like solid foundations. This is like building ourselves up, right? And almost like, in a way, I feel like, look at the image, like he has this square around him in a way that almost feels to me right now like protective of this fuckery. That's like my new favorite word, fuckery. But really, like, do you see, like, he's on his shit. Like, Scorpio is so good at like manifesting and taking care of their money and working hard, right? Like, those are things that we're not typically good at. Gemini, you know what I mean? But like, right now it's like we can tap into that energy, that Jupiter and Scorpio sense of abundance, and like doing what's right for yourself and standing up for yourself. Like, we don't typically assert ourselves that much, right? It's not because we're weak, we're a mutable sign. Like, we go with the flow. Like, we're so chill and laid back, like, and we can see the good in almost anything that we're like, yeah, that sounds good, that's cool, whatever you guys want, right? Let the like huffier people decide. We're gonna like make a big deal about it because like I'll go there, all those places sound cool. I'm just down to go and have fun because I'm a Gemini and I know I'll have a good time wherever I go. I mean, not literally, but you know, just like psych us up a little bit. Like, we are very good at like bringing the party, right? Creating a lighthearted, joyful like atmosphere. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, this feels like the first step, guys, to this Ten of Cups, like happiness and joy. Like, this card is kind of represented by Pisces, but I feel very strongly like that water sign energy of Scorpio. Like, this is what we're going through. Like, I feel like some people would, like, if you look at 10, the month of October, and then also like I feel like Pisces season, like by the time it's March, April, or Pisces, February, March, like, this is going to be how we're living our lives, right? And then we don't need to worry about like which twin is more in control right now, because look at these two people. Like, they're united and they're balanced. They're black and white. You see like the balance between them, and look at how strong that makes them. They're like sturdy. These two are like the foundation for like all of this beautiful bounty. Like, we'll be more in balance. We don't have to be like, okay, like nice guy, go away for a little while. I gotta let the other guy out. Like, I used to really resent the nice side, right? Like there were times where I would think about like, oh, I wish I just didn't have that side of me, right? Like I would imagine these two twins and like, why don't you just like fucking kill the other one? He's useless. He's weak. This is that other twin coming out. But my point is like, I got to a point where I realized like it's not the twins' fault. Like, think about siblings. Like, if you had like a sister or brother who was like sweeter and nicer and gentler than you, like, wouldn't you protect them? Wouldn't you like cherish that in them and protect them? So that's how I started to see like the harder twin as the protector of the softer one. You know, because, and this is so beautiful about Gemini, like we like people, but like in a way we're kind of self-sufficient, right? And it's because we have these two sides. We have this side of us that values the beauty of the other twin. So basically like we're valuing that in ourselves. And then the soft twin values like the harshness, get shit done aspect of the harder twin, which is basically us like loving ourselves again. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can make it a metaphor and thinking about two twins, but really these are just parts of ourselves recognizing ourselves. And then when you have that fusion, when you have that like cohesion between the two, like Gemini can accomplish anything. Like when those parts start to work together and respect each other and value each other's input, you know, like what better couple, Gemini, right? What better couple than us for ourselves? But do you know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't that sound like a beautiful relationship? Like, two people who feel that way about each other, who value and respect and protect the beauty and the differences in each other. You know, like, I want to say right now, like, talking about this, Gemini, like, what I was saying about Pisces season, I wouldn't be surprised if, for most of us, by, like, spring of next year, we're finding ourselves in, like, serious relationships if you're single. Or, like, if you're in a relationship, like, it moving to the next level. I really feel like between, like, by March-ish, like there's going to be an upgrade in our relationship status. This I was going to say if you're single in a bad relationship, this could be you leaving it, but I don't feel like that. I feel like everything that's happening that I'm talking about here will be an upgrade. Because we're going to have this, and this is not common for us, right? This like Capricorn solid energy. We're not that grounded. But I think we have the chance to, right? Like, think about the signs that are coming up. We have Scorpio. We have Sagittarius. We have Capricorn. Like, the next air sign that comes is Aquarius, and like that's one of the most grounded air signs there are, at least in terms of like not getting like carried away with like their thoughts or ideas. Like, they're big ideas, but they don't get like lost in them the way that the rest of us do as much, right? Like, my point being is that it's just kind of more serious time of the year. Perfect time to get more serious, right? Like, I know we can't turn down a party, Gemini, but like it's so much easier to stay in when it gets like dark at 5 o'clock and it's cold outside, right? Like the call of the wild that you feel in the summertime when everybody's in tank tops and partying in the streets. Like, now we can kind of simmer down a little bit. Now we can focus on that shit, right? So that like when the time comes for this, we've got what it takes. Like what I've been saying about the Libra new moon to a lot of the signs, it's like creating a foundation, like a very stable platform. And the point of that platform is to launch us forward. Like, what better sign for Gemini creating that stable platform than the Four of Pentacles, like the definition of like financial stability, material stability, and security. Oh, Gemini, you know, like, I came into this feeling so dark, but how could anyone stay dark when they talk to us? You know, we're Gemini. That's like our thing, is being lighthearted and fun. And I'm glad we're getting here, because like even though last reading I talked about, you know, finding that part of us again, and even though I'm talking about getting serious, like I think we found it, and I think now like we're more comfortable with who we are, and we're more grounded in ourselves, and like we can be focused and serious, but like not let it overwhelm us, like because we don't like that, right? Like we don't like to be serious if it makes us like dry and boring. Five of Wands. So, first thing I want to point out here is that so far we have a very balanced spread. We have Cups, Swords, Pentacles, and Wands. We have all the elements present. So we want to talk about balance, Gemini. Like, this to me is just an affirmation of like the creative energy and the power and like the forward momentum that we're going to be building up. Like I don't think we're going to like launch forward just yet, but I think like early springish time is like you'll see like that like go-getter power of shit moving forward, because this is our time to like get right with ourselves and our money. But like Five of Wands, like I wouldn't normally say this, but I kind of want like Gemini to get a little comfortable with fighting a little bit. Like, obviously, you would know why I would cringe a little bit saying that, but like, what are we talking about here? This to me, the reason I say fighting is because it's like you're expressing that like anger. Like, shit like that needs to be expressed. Like sometimes it's good to like let things go, but sometimes it's important to like figure out who's to blame for something. Like people need to take accountability, right? If you're being petty about it, that's one thing, but if you're like, no, like you fucked up, like the Scorpio thing I'm talking about earlier, where it's like you did this to yourself, like you pushed me here, this is what the energy you've been giving me. I'm just gonna chill and take it? No. I'm not gonna just chill and take it. I'm not taking that shit no more. No, but seriously, like, do you guys see what I'm seeing? Like, I love these cards that have come out here. And I love that I just, like, kind of decided to go this route with the reading. And base it in, like, what I was feeling. Like, I just felt like I was channeling that Gemini at the moment. But I really like this for us, guys. Like, part of me doesn't, because I don't love, like, I'm a Libra moon. So confrontation doesn't always sit so well with me, but like, I know we're capable of it. You know, especially when we feel like we're right. Like, a Libra moon quality, sure, but like also, like I said about snapping, it's like we gave you so many chances. I was so patient with you. And you took advantage. You treated me like I was weak and I wasn't gonna do anything about it. Gotcha, bitch. Like, seriously, like you fuck with the wrong one. Like, so beautiful, Gemini. 10 of Pentacles. Like, we start off with the 10 of emotions, like of cups, and this was so happy already, and then like look at what we get, like the building of the foundation, and then we start to see the manifestation of it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised in the next like 2 weeks, or I would give it, you might see something in the next 2 weeks, like maybe an additional stream of income or something like that, or like something material that makes you feel like comfortable and more grounded. But you know, when we talk about new moons in a sign, like the what starts during when the new moon is in a sign kind of culminates when the full moon is in that sign, and the full moon is going to be in Libra in Aries season, March to April, right? So I would expect, guys, like March, April, when the full moon is in Libra, like the foundation we're building right now, like you're gonna start to see some of that shit come to fruition. Not some of it, like real. Like the 10 is like the end product, like the culmination of the work. You know what I mean? That makes sense. And then like it's funny because like in between, like in between this greatness and this stability, you have like fuckery, right? This is like such the duality of Gemini. Like fuckery, stability, fuckery, stability. And do you see how it kind of increases in intensity? Like this is just kind of buffoonery nonsense. And then the stability, and then like fighting, and then like home. Like it just gradually gets better. You know? I think that's great. Bam, 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 bam. See? Pretty fucking cool, Gemini. Like really cool. And we have all minors. Like I feel like some people would say like that suggests like day-to-day mundane nonsense, but I think what's happening here is like our the mundane nonsense, like the stuff that maybe we don't take seriously, the day-to-day life, like that's gonna see a drastic improvement. All starting now. Like in the next 2 weeks, guys, if you can like stand up for yourself in a small way, or like even if it's just like, you know, I'll give you an example. There's someone in my office who was like talking a lot of shit about me to other people, like, and she's in a management position. And like now I just don't interact with her at all. Like we used to be friends. She kind of helped me get the job. And ever since she went there, I'm like, nope. Like my Scorpio friend I was telling you about earlier, she's like, I noticed a difference in you. Like lately you've just been very much about like not taking it. Like just being like, nope. That's what I challenge you to do, Gemini. Like, you don't have to go full blown like, I'm gonna fuck you up, ho. You don't have to go all the way there. But like start drawing those lines. So being like, no, I'm not gonna hang out with you. You're whack. You talk shit. Like that's like a easy way to like start serving up people's drama, karma. Like no, there was that time that you were fucking mean to me. I'm not gonna engage you. I try to make conversation with you all the time, and like you don't reciprocate. I'm not gonna give my energy to you anymore. That's the kind of assertiveness that Gemini has to practice in the next few months, and then that's going to really become important in the next few weeks, and the next few months. Are you feeling me, guys? I'm feeling me. Of course I am. Gemini, we're feeling ourselves like 24/7. We were born feeling ourselves, and it's for good reason, right? Beautiful. Gemini, just like, remember what I said about how we're not like usually the most grounded like sign, and what do we have so far? Like beautiful pentacles. Half of this reading is pentacles. Remember what I said about balance before between the elements? Now we're getting like heavy pentacles. 3 of the 6 cards we've pulled are pentacles, and they're good ones. This to me, this is our first option, the first path potential path. Like this to me is like the starting point of this, or rather the starting point that gets us here and then moves us here. Like the Ace of Pentacles is about like, to me, I'm feeling right now just like a new attitude towards money, towards the material. towards wealth and finances and all that stuff. So I don't necessarily feel like, oh, maybe a new job or business venture, like if that's the situation you're in, then that applies to you, then sure. I feel like it's more here. I feel like this Ace of Pentacles is like a new attitude or a new shift towards money. Like maybe you start saving your money more. Maybe you start doing overtime. Maybe you look for a second job. Like that's kind of along what I'm getting here. Maybe you just like stop going out as much. Start buying more furniture for your apartment. Like start saving up for a vacation. Open an IRA or something. You know what I mean? Like that's what this is getting at here for me. Like beautiful potential for like real growth, for real material security. But again, remember, like it's not going to be without a fight. Like this comes between this and this. You know what I mean? So be prepared for it. That's kind of what I said without meaning to about like how getting into this mentality is gonna get us ready for like what's gonna happen here, like because this shit is gonna pop up. It's not going away. Like you might get tried. You probably will get tried. Just think about fucking Scorpio, man. Scorpio like fucks with that dark twin. You know, like some of the very closest people in my life are Scorpios. It makes perfect sense that like one of the closest friends I've made in the last few months is a Scorpio. And I have like plenty of close friends, but like in terms of like where I like feel her and she feels me. Does that make sense? Like there are probably people I hang out with more or like do more stuff with, but like when we're together, it's like we're getting very close. Anyway, my aunt, my brother, my best friend growing up, like they're all Scorpios. Like if you got Scorpio friends, roll with them. No one better to have on your side than a Scorpio. Trust. Except a Gemini. Like we fight for our friends, right? Scorpio will like cut a bitch for their friends. Oh, beautiful. Like how much clearer do we have to see our other pathways? The Five of Cups. Like, remember when I was saying like I kind of felt uncomfortable encouraging this? But I felt like it needed to be expressed, like exactly what I was thinking, and I'm so glad this came up afterwards. Was you know, they say that like depression is anger turned inward. So when I was saying before about sometimes there are people to blame. Sometimes like you do need to make someone take accountability. Sometimes it has nothing to do with you. Sometimes you have the right to be mad. Sometimes you have the right to like even maybe fight somebody a little bit. I'm not suggesting physical violence. I'm just saying like to stand your ground, to maybe be a little aggressively assertive. Because then look at the two possibilities here. Like which is better? Again, another minor, right? Like we're dealing with minors. We're dealing with our earthly existence, our day-to-day life. This isn't too much about like our personality or our spiritual growth. Like this is about like get your money right, Gemini. We're doing it. Like we're doing it. Okay, well at the bottom of the deck we have the Queen of Wands. It's our first court card, first personality, but like look at which one it is. Like she is just in control. To me right now I'm thinking about like how we're air signs and like that fire on her wand is burning so bright, and like how we have that control over how bright it goes or how low it gets, right? Like when you blow on like you can control a fire like by how much air you give it. and I'm gonna go this time with like this feels just kind of like in this Jaguar I'm seeing like the, oh nice, look under that Six of Cups, perfect, like Gemini, beautiful. Like this is that ferocity I was talking about, but it's like controlled. Like the Princess of Wands has a cat in this deck, but like it feels a little wilder. Like this one is like powerful but controlled. Like look at those eyes. Like, do you need a better image for the dark twin? And look what he's doing. He's like protecting her. Like I'm getting lost in those eyes right now. Also, this is sexy time. The Queen of Wands to me often means like sexuality, and right now I'm feeling that, especially in Scorpio. Like Gemini, like have your fun. You know, like we're flirtatious. We like to like, like sometimes we get we get around. Like not as bad as some other signs sometimes. Like Aries and Pisces like to get around too. But like we like to like delve into that sexual place. Like it turns us on mentally. So like do your thing, have your fun too. Like look, Six of Cups at the bottom. This is again just like you're so lighthearted and free and fun. You're just like killing it, Gemini. Like people want to hang out with you. People are attracted to you. You're like shining. Like it's fucking sick. But like you have to kind of a little bit embrace like that darker side. Like I've honestly felt with myself, sometimes that's when I get the most done. That's when I'm like, fuck this, and make changes. You know what I mean? And you get in that place, like this is some like bitch ass shit. This is some bitch ass shit, like compared to what I'm talking about. You know, like I'm talking about like letting that sadness make you angry and make you change shit and like make you assert yourself, not moping. Like this is what we've been letting other people put us into a place of. No, not anymore. We're going here. Like this makes me feel so happy for Gemini. I'm so happy for us, guys. Like I think because we deserve this, right? Like we put ourselves out there in this way with this energy, and we don't always get it back, but like we deserve to get it back. We do. In my humble opinion. Oh, brother. Alright, so I'm just gonna pull like a couple more cards for outcome, and then like Gemini, let's get you sent on our way. Like Taurus full moon next month. Like let's start planting those seeds. Like it's a new moon, right? And what do we do during new moon? We plant seeds. We make plans for the future. Wow, this happened yesterday with Taurus. The card that was at the bottom of the deck when I shuffled it became the first card that came out with the outcome, and for them it was the Ace of Wands. Like this bitch is like, no, you're not getting rid of me. Like I'm here to stay. Like that dark twin is like not getting rid of me. Like this is so cool. Like I cannot believe this happened for the second time in 2 days. That's never happened to me before, ever. Bottom of the deck is the top of the deck. But this is so promising. Like this excitement I'm feeling, Gemini, like I think it's because of this. It's because like this energy coming up into our lives is like a sure thing. Maybe that's a little cocky or arrogant, but like I don't give a fuck. That power, like, because it's in us already. That's the thing, right? It's like in us already. We just have to let it out. So fucking cool, man. Love these cards. I love them. So can you tell I've like maybe just starting to feel happily single because of the way like this made me giggle like a shy little boy. Like this is like, first of all, this is our card. The Lovers is the Gemini card, and like, can we just talk about like all this power? Like, can we talk about this, Gemini? Like, the Queen of Wands coming up again, and then like followed by what? Our card. Look, and this is everything else is still minor. This is the first major that came up. It's our card. And what was I just saying earlier about relationships? And how perfect, like the harmony that I was talking about, the balance in these people. Like Gemini, I'm starting to blush a little bit because I really feel like I hate being one of those, like, some part of me really doesn't like those readers who are always like, yeah, this week you're gonna meet like a Capricorn, and then it's like your soulmate and your twin flame or blah blah blah. Like, I'm more about like giving us guidance and like spiritual like insight, right? So we can grow and change and evolve. I'm not trying to be here to be like a fortune teller. But like, I gotta say, like, I think that it's gonna get sexy. I feel like real love, like what I was saying about like the leveling up of relationships if you're in one, or like finding one that like really works if you're not. Like the Lovers this time, like, I'm gonna take it very literally. Like, connection, beautiful, balanced, harmonious connection with another person. What a great sign. Like, what a great sign. And this is good because, like, I'm not ready to stop being single yet. I'm not ready to start being single yet. Stop being single yet. But what was I saying about, like, the time frame for this, right? Like, early spring. Like, let's even say Gemini season. Sometime between, like, March and June. Expect, like, a relationship to get serious. Expect a relationship to change. It might mean you might meet the person now, but, like, maybe it's like you don't become official for a few months, you know, if that's the case. Anyway, guys, like, or like you lesbian it and you U-Haul it and like you guys meet and then like a month later you're living together. Oh, I kid, but not really. Like, that feels good. I'm surprised because at first it made me nervous, but like now it makes me kind of happy. Because this isn't just like a relationship, this is like true companionship. Like, dare I say, soulmate. Right? And not soulmate in the sense that like there's only one person in the world who's meant for you, but like that like deep, profound soul connection that maybe we usually only get like 2 or 3 times if we're lucky in our lives. Or maybe if we're not lucky. If we're lucky, I guess we get it once. But like the reality of it is like that like rare relationship. Like when you look back on your life, like one of the great loves of your life. Maybe the last great love, who knows, depending where you are in life and what you want. But like big time relationship. Like, look at what we started. Like, this is like, oh, like, I wish I could show you this, but I can't tilt my camera down. But like, this was on top of this in the spread here. Like, you want to talk about like making a family? You want to talk about like just pure joy? Like even if it's not about having kids, it's like that feeling of having a family. Like even if you're just married with a dog or a cat, like, you know what I mean? Just checking out my cat. I was mad at her earlier. But no, I guess I feel a little bad about that. I felt bad about it as soon as I came out of my mouth, and I was like pissed that she ate my headphones for like the third time, like the third pair of headphones in like a month or two. But she's precious. I would show you her, but again, like my camera doesn't tilt right now. Anyway, Gemini, just talking. Just talking to you guys, like. I'm glad. I'm glad that this is happening. I feel like we're having a talk. We're having a conversation. And it's fucking cool. Alright, just one more of these and then we're going to go ahead and clarify with the nature nurture, and then I'm going to leave you all to be some like badass motherfuckers. Okay. Five of Pentacles. Like I kind of wish I had just stopped. No, but like let's look at this, right? Like we have this overwhelming, like for the outcome cards, we have this overwhelming sense of like positive energy, and then we get the Five of Pentacles. So what's that all about, huh? What is that Five of Pentacles telling us? Well, the first thing I want to say is like I don't think it's going to be super easy or like without setbacks. I also kind of want to like, this has been doing this lately. I don't read reversed, but like sometimes it springs into my head that like that's the context. Like I don't want to make it too positive. Like let's look at this like in the purest way. It represents grief and loss and sorrow. But like look at the context of the other cards. Like I don't feel like this can possibly be saying like this is where things are going. I almost want to say somebody else might be feeling this way because of us. Oof, I don't want to go there. In terms of like, maybe one of those people you had to like give that the Scorpio energy to is like feeling it. Like this is the soft twin coming out of me. Like, oh, I didn't want to hurt you. But like, let's look at it the other way, right? Where this is saying like this time is over. Like if this was reversed, like the energies that are here would be like showing up differently. And maybe what it's saying here is that like the bad times are kind of past. Like we have this security, we have this power, and like, can we go here? Have we been here? Yes. But like, let's use it to make us stronger, right? Like to learn from our mistakes and like what we did wrong the last time that we were like, you know, suffering financially or like in a bad relationship. Like let's take those things with us, not like emotionally, but like logically, and like make this so much better than what we came from. But for the sake of not being too wishy-washy, guys, I mean, fluffy and whatever, like, just still, like, pay attention to your money. You know, keep a good grip on your finances. Pay attention to it, you know? But, like, that's the worst I have to say about it. Like, be cautious and be protective of your money. I feel like money specifically. But like everything else, you can just let it go. Like this grief, this sorrow, like I'm not feeling the emotional element of this card like I usually do. Like that's where I'm saying like I feel like this is in the past. Like material shit can still go wrong and like still maybe like throw you for a loop, but like I feel like this, when I look at this card, what did I say? Sorrow, misery, grief. Like look at the way he's covering his face and like clutching his body, and the man in the background is like just staring at the ground with the pentacle in his hand. It's like such a feeling of being without. But again, I'm not totally getting that side of this card right now. It's like the more mundane, like, yeah, like shit, like I can still fuck things up with my money if I'm not careful. Like maybe I'm making more money now, you know, but you can also spend more money when you have more. Because look, like this is where we're going, right? So like this is why I kind of reject this as like a sense of where things are going, like because this is what we got before. Like how can this happen? And it can, but with everything else here, like I don't think that this is where we're going. We're moving past this, Gemini. We're moving past this period. Last reading I talked about like feeling like this sense of without that we have for so long, that now like we're doing a little better in a lot of ways. Like we can move on and be our lighthearted self, and I feel like this is like we're moving on from that. Like the Lovers, they're like, well, the way it's laid out on the spread, it's like they're turned away from that. Like let this miserable shit like be a part of the past and like focus on this now, that beautiful like new friendship, that partnership. This could also be like a bad past relationship that was like a big deal, but like now it's like you're done and you're moving on to like a major, to the Lovers. You know, maybe where you were tied financially to somebody and things didn't work out and it was like harrowing for you and it felt like everything you had was like going to shit. And then this is the new promise. Like I almost want to say like in between these two things comes like the Ace of Pentacles. Like hope and promise. And then on the other side, like family, love, joy, peace, comfort, security. Like now, like holding these cards visually, like I just see so much of like, nah, fuck that. Like the Five of Pentacles is like, we're not paying attention to that anymore. We learned our lessons. We kept those lessons with us, but like that stuff is part of the past. Those feelings are like part of the past. Bottom of the deck, the Five of Swords. So we got a bunch of fives here. So look, Gemini, like, even though I've been talking a big game, like, it's not going to be all roses, right? Like, I already talked about that with the Five of Wands. Like, the Five of Swords is like struggle, like setbacks. Like losing a little bit. But again, being at the bottom of the deck, where it's underlying all this other stuff, is sort of like, this feels again like where we're coming from. Like moving out of a place of surviving. Like these people in this image, like they're being like attacked by barraged by locusts. And there's nothing they can do, and they're just hunkering down. This to me is like someone who's been just like struggling to survive for a long time. And that's like the emotional impetus here of like what is making all this other stuff happen. Like what's bringing this about? Like this is where we were, guys. You know, this is where we were. this is where we could still end up if we like don't make the right moves. And what are the right moves? Like standing up for ourselves, asserting ourselves, like focusing on being solid, so that like when this comes into our life, like we have the means to support it, like physically, emotionally, financially, all that stuff, right? Like hold on to the promise of the Lovers. Be the Queen of Wands and be just so focused and driven and like protective of all parts of yourself, the softer side and the harsher side. And then here's where we're going, like just happiness. Like there's ways to interpret this like negatively, but like with everything else that's come here, like this is just pointing to good times ahead. I think this guy was this guy was running, and I think he had really big headphones on, so he couldn't hear how horrendously awful he sounded. Like his panting. Oh man, but like I don't know if you guys heard that. I thought someone was like dying. We can be petty, right? Like Gemini, but we do it for fun. Like we don't gossip to hurt people. We gossip like to laugh or like have you ever been in those situations where like you're just making light of a situation and someone takes you like super seriously and it's like, no, I wouldn't be saying something like that seriously. Like you should know that it was a joke. So gratitude, Gemini, like this right now is sort of like acknowledging where we come from. Like I'm feeling like gratitude for the lessons we learned, right? Like maybe lost a lot of money or made a lot of stupid mistakes, and now like we've learned them, and now we can just like we don't like what I was saying before about the harsher twin like being like wanting to take out the softer twin. Like this isn't about like hating ourselves or like where we come from. Like it's about just like recognizing like the gifts it's brought us and the lessons we've learned and like for how far we've come, right? Like how far have we come? You know, so like even if we're getting hard, like stay soft to like the things that matter. Like Scorpio is very intense but also very loyal, right? They tend to keep like small close-knit groups of friends. So like recognize the people who've always been there for you, recognize the people who have counted for you, right? Like don't ostracize those people. Don't like I mean, I think it's no matter what, you're gonna sting a little bit, because that's how we are. We're sharp with our tongues. But you know, in a real way, like don't push people away. Like in fact, actively nurture those people who've like helped you get to where you are, right? Leadership. Interesting, because I don't normally associate this as like a Gemini quality in a way. It's like very like Leo, literally Leo, like Aries or Capricorn, I would say, are more like the bosses. But Gemini, I feel like this is us, like being like the shining star, being the beacon of hope, being like the kind of person who is like leading people by example. Not because they want to be in charge or because they want to tell people what to do or like be the boss, but like because you're so flossy, you're so like living your own life like a boss that people just kind of want to be like you. You know, and you can use that responsibly. You can like use your brains and your intelligence and your wit and your emotional intelligence to like create images that are like positive and empowering, like to inspire people in the right ways. You know what I mean? Like you can't help but like have people notice you and want to be like you. when you're at your best. That's just what I feel. Let me just do one more here. Abundance, Buffalo, like Jupiter, like abundance, material and emotional, like fulfillment. Like this feels so good to me right now. I'm so happy, like after all the shit we've gone through where I said we've been like the nice twin too much and let people take advantage of us and blah blah blah, like we're getting all the like the promises of all like the beautiful stuff that our soul like kind of deserves. Like how promising. You see, again, this is why I can't like see some of like this as like the outcome. Like does not compute. The other cards are saying like to think about this differently. Bottom of the deck, like desert resilience, like this card to me is very similar to exactly what I was talking about here. And exactly what I was talking about here. Like the desert is like someone surviving, but like, you know, not really thriving. Like it's arid, you know, like, and it's strong and it's tough, but like this is not what I feel for Gemini. Like this is by no means a negative card, right? Huh. Underneath the victory, the B, like we're gonna just win. Like I feel like this has come up for quite a few signs. I think this Libra moon is really like getting people ready for like big success and big positive change, right? But like this is not a negative card per se, but like in the context of everything else we're talking about, this is like you've learned your lessons, like the rough parts are behind you, like let it go, and like start to water this, right? Like imagine this cup's energy, this water energy, like like all over the land here, right? Like imagine how you would thrive. You know, I've been like in a surviving spot for a while, and just very recently I was very proud of myself because I made it through like a tough time financially, and then I was just like, you know, like I've already proven to myself that I can survive. I've been doing this long enough, this like living on my own thing, like recovering from a breakup, like recovering from joblessness, so like a point where like I know I can survive. Now it's time to show myself that I can thrive. There's no more like patting myself on the back for like surviving. Like that's old news. That's like we've learned those lessons. Now like when we're talking about creativity with the Libra new moon, like what's next? What are we going to do with our lives? What are we going to create? In all aspects of the world, like even like creativity to me is like so tied to sexuality. I mean, it's like the sacral chakra. It's both the same thing. Like like sexuality and creativity come from like the same like energetic place. So Gemini. This video is a little long. Definitely the longest one I've done of the signs for this moon. But like I just felt like there's so much energy to get through. Like so much. But I feel like we went through it. Like I feel like this reading, this talk has been like a journey. Like from where I started and to where I am now, like I feel a little different. I hope you feel a little different. Like, it's our responsibility now to take this and like bring it into the world and do the work. But aren't you inspired? Don't you feel like I've been all about like I can get into relationships very easily, so like I'm gonna be single. I don't want relationships. That's why this made me nervous. But like this is making me like optimistic and happy. And like wanting this again. If like this is the kind of relationship I get next, like what's the problem here? What would I have to like this baggage like it's doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like you can let that shit go, guys. And be like optimistic about what's coming next. Oh guys, I'm like almost wanna like I was gonna say cry, but I'm done with that shit. Like I'm really feeling a little emotional. Like I'm really really happy like that this reading went the way it did. Even like the negative stuff, like the challenging stuff. I feel like it's all stuff that we needed to hear. All right, so like get that manifestation ass in gear. We got the full moon in Taurus. Like I want us to like be reaping some shit by then. I want us to be living like a real sexy, sensual, like grounded, stable, strong Taurus life on the 4th of November. Cool? You're cool. No, you're cool. Love you guys. Bye.